Hello and welcome to everybody watching live and those of you tuning in via replay. My name is Manny. I'm with AutoPot Watering Systems. Most of you are familiar with AutoPot, but for those of you who are not, AutoPot is an automated feeding system that does not utilize any electricity. There's no pumps, no timers, nothing to plug in, nothing to set. We rely purely on gravity and this valve right up here up above we call the aqua valve. And the aqua valve allows plants to feed themselves based on their rate of consumption. So this is our first IG Live as a company. This is my first IG Live, so I'm going to try not to hit any buttons and make this whole thing come crashing down, all right? No promises. But today we'll be having a conversation with Daz from Night Owl Seeds. Daz is an avid user of AutoPot. We've been collaborating together for the past few years. He's done some amazing things with autoflowers in our system, and quite frankly, some of the largest autoflowers I've ever seen grown in AutoPot has been his genetics and by him personally. So without any further ado, let me grab Daz. Just bear with me for a second. So just a moment here, guys, while Daz comes in. Daz, what's up, man?
Hey, bud, how are you?
Good, dude. Thank you for doing this. We appreciate it.
Yeah, let me cover up these comments just so I don't get distracted. I've got
No
ADD
doubt.
here, so.
Yeah,
What's
I'm
up,
the
brother?
same way, man. Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having me on and
absolutely.
popping
Absolutely.
my
People have been,
IG live cherry here. I've never done
dude,
this
me too.
before, so.
Me too.
We,
I've been quite nervous, to be
yeah,
honest.
we can
So.
screw it up together.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Well, like everybody's been really excited, so that's been good. The feedback, and we've had so many people reach out, to say that they'd be watching. And honestly, I've already see so many people, so I'm already quite impressed, man. So we'll get right into it. If you're ready.
Right on. Yeah.
Cool. Well, listen, dude. We'll start at the beginning. If you want to just introduce yourself a little bit and give some of your background.
My name's Daz. Not very good at talking about myself, but I've been growing and breeding autos for quite a while now. And I got introduced to your pots. I saw them years and years ago on YouTube, but never really believed in automation. I thought that kind of took some of the soul out of the growing, so I always stayed away from it. It was just pure hand water. And finally, I just couldn't deny the results I was seeing, so I gave some AutoPots a shot. I don't think there's ever going to be going back for me now. They just blew me away. So it's a product I truly do believe in. I've seen the results firsthand, and I can't praise you guys high enough for what you've created there. It's a beautiful system.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
It's impossible to screw up. Even an idiot like me can do it. So.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, I think a lot of people find themselves in your position just in the sense that, looking at AutoPot, you're not sure what it is, but the proof's always in the pudding, man. When you actually get the system and use it, that's when, especially people that have been growing for a while, see they're like, wow, this is pretty incredible, the growth rate and the ease of use. Just what, like a random guy, or do you remember where you saw it?
I think I actually saw it from one of the AutoPot UK videos back in the day. I'm not sure how it popped up in my feed or algorithm or whatever, but yeah, it must have been just going through grow videos, and then one of those popped up, and I don't recall specifically what it was, but yeah,
Nice.
it caught my attention. I was doing a lot of research I started out, I did soil. I kind of messed around in high school a little bit. Me and my buddy Ian grew some plants, and then after that, moved down to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for a while, and couldn't really find any good bud down there, and ended up getting robbed when I was trying to. And I was like, well, it's going to be safer for me to face mandatory minimums and keep it quiet and grow myself than put myself out here at risk like this. So that was kind of the impetus for me to really jump into growing and doing it right. So
Nice.
From there, I did kind of deep water culture at first. And I think it was probably sometime around then that I found out first about AutoPots. And from there it was deep water culture. Then I moved on to organic soil and never looked back from that. I just eventually, after a decade or so, gave the AutoPots a try. And yeah, they're incredible.
Nice, man. So what what brought you to Autoflowers, you know, as you were going down your journey?
Well, I was getting robbed and then wanting some flour fast, and that was the quickest way to get to it. So, yeah, I didn't know anybody down there. I met some people at school and thought I had a good connection going, and it turned out that wasn't the best. And yeah, so I was like, all right, well, let me figure this out for myself and do it proper.
I think a lot of us have been there, you know. That's kind of like been a driving force for a lot of people who are growing their own, man. So that's cool. I've just been getting autoflowers recently myself the last couple of years, and I mean, they're great. I've never really dived into it, and then seeing the results I've been getting out of it, I've just been purely growing autoflowers now for like a couple of years. So.
The rate of growth on them is addictive. Like seeing every day just how much more they grow, and then hitting the stretch period for the first time, you're just like, oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was something that I'd never experienced before.
Nice, man. Nice. And you said you were pretty much strictly hand watering prior to jumping into automation?
Oh yeah, only hand water. Yep.
And then it was deep water culture, and then eventually AutoPot.
Yep. But actually it was deep water culture, then organic soil, and then AutoPots.
Ah, okay.
Before that, back in high school, we grew in and just Miracle Grow straight up with like the Miracle Grow spikes, the little nutrient plant spikes, just packed the soil full of those. And,
I've used them.
Yeah. We didn't know any better. I wasn't online doing any research or anything back then. It was the early 2000s, so I was just like, yeah, I'm going to figure this out on my own. And for the longest time, I didn't even know I had to flip them to 12-12 to get it to flower. Then when I had monster plants growing in my bathroom, I was like, what is going on here? I need to figure this out. Went and got a book on it and was like, okay, let me make these flower now. I know what I'm doing.
Nice. Nice.
So it was off to the races from there.
That's awesome. So, I mean, so just in the day-to-day grind, you know, what would you say differed between your previous growing styles and then moving to AutoPot? Like just maybe some like highlights or things that stood out from maybe what it alleviated for you or what you know you saw.
Well, it's definitely freed up more time to be even more hands-on with the plants. I always thought when you go automation, you kind of remove yourself from it, but it's actually been the complete opposite, to where now it's one less thing that I actually have to worry about as far as like making sure they're watered properly at the correct level and getting what they need. Now I can actually be hands-on more so with the selections and really getting to know each of the individual plants better than I ever have before, just because I have more time to really get in and mess around with them and see what's what. And I first started with the AutoPot trays, the 9-spot.
Yeah,
and,
I remember.
I love those. They were great, but I did notice just I couldn't get in the tent and walk around and move, and it was kind of really hard to pick them up and get in and be hands-on. So then I switched to the individual modular XL trays. There's no going back, man. Those are a game changer for sure. It's so easy. You can move stuff around. If there's a problem with anything, it's modular. It's one individual component that has to be replaced or plugged in. I don't know if Luke told you, but I didn't have a line fully secured, and I ran out about 30 gallons in a tank, which was 100% my fault for not double checking all the secure connections recently. Got that line snipped and put on properly, and perfect, good to go.
Yeah, I think I've been there. A lot of people watching this have been there. Usually it's just not paying attention to something. For me, it's always been I'm making that last exit out of the room, you know, and I'm tiptoeing and I'm trying not to step on anything, and I'll just step on a line. And I've learned to just come check on things a couple minutes later and make sure everything's running right, and then I'm usually good.
I think that's exactly what happened. Was I probably stepped on a line as I was getting ready to head out the door, and it was right before I literally just got back from Colorado this morning. I was out there packing up a U-Haul with all the rest of my stuff out there. I've got so many AutoPots on the back of a U-Haul right now that I've got to unload still. But yeah, I got back this morning, and while I was out there, my chick was like, the first night, she was like, I think something might be wrong. There's some water on the floor. It's like, all right, well, let's shut the reservoir off, double check everything. We found the loose connection, plugged it up proper, and it's been perfect ever since. So it's definitely was my own fault and just rushing to get things done and get out there and get back out here. But dude, it's amazing the fact that I can just leave plants for 5 days and they're amazing. They're good to go. Like I've never had that experience before in my life.
It's crazy. I mean, like before I even came to this company, and I'd been in the industry for a while, and I had just been like not able to leave my house at times, you know, like my girlfriend knew she always had to stay at my house because I was like, I just can't, I have to be here, near the girls, you know.
Yeah.
But even myself, when I discovered it, I was just blown away, and it kind of brought me into the whole AutoPot world, and here I am today. So you said currently you're using the XL modules.
Yep.
Great. Yeah, those are good too because you can, unlike the other modules, you can turn them, which is nice.
Oh yeah.
Within the base, I do like that with the XLs. I know that the tray systems, they were originally designed for vertical racking, for warehouse racking, but a lot of people do use them in tents, but it can get pretty crowded. So I can see kind of that feedback there.
If I wasn't doing selections and having to remove plants and put new plants in, that would be the way to go. If I was just doing a straight flower run, I would use the trays all day. But the fact that I'm going in and switching stuff around and having to decide whether I'm going to keep this or replace it with something else, the modular system made it way easier. I also used the smaller square, I think they're like 2.9 gallon pots. Is that what they are?
3.9, 15 liter. Yeah. So it's about 3.9 gallons.
So I've been using those for my photo periods that I'm pollinating with autoflower pollen and keeping a bunch of mom plants happy in those. So yeah, dude, I love it, man. I can't say enough good things about it, and I'm not a salesman by any stretch of the imagination. Like straight up, I only talk about stuff that I truly believe in and that I use and like actually think other people could benefit from. You don't see me out here recommending just things on the daily. This is something that like is special to me, and I truly believe in this product. And I've paid for all my AutoPots. I'm not like getting them for free or anything. Like they're amazing. Like, I really do believe in them. So
cool, man. Well, listen, we appreciate that, and thank you for saying that. The system definitely does speak for itself. And you were kind of touching on this a bit, but in general, when it comes to growing and how AutoPots benefit, but could you speak to a little more directly how they help when it comes to breeding and what you're doing specifically around breeding and genetics and how the system might influence that or help or
well, it really helps plants fully express themselves to a level I've never seen before. I mentioned before, every plant this last run, even the small stuff, was a monster. Like there are no small plants in AutoPots anymore, it appears. Like I used to think, 2 to 4 ounces for a small plant would be huge, but on this last run, it was 4 to 6 for my smallest stuff, and I was just blown away by the difference. And I still haven't completely dialed in. I use my super soil recipe with it, and since these things are getting so big so fast, they're burning through what used to be just my standard protocol for feeding them.
Right.
So now I'm kind of back to the drawing board on we got to increase my nutrients and get this mix a little bit stronger because they're monsters. They're huge. So that definitely makes it easier to see how they can really, truly, fully express themselves. Again, taking away the whole having to think about watering and just focusing on structure, on trichome production, on leaf structure, branching, everything else, and making my selections that way. I mean, it makes it that much easier because the standouts are just truly on another level than what I've ever grown before.
For sure. I mean, my preconceived notions I had about autoflowers have really gone out the window over the last few years, with everything I've seen. So it's pretty incredible. And we do hear that a lot. And since I've been dealing with the system, especially with living soil growers that are switching over, that the system will exhaust the soil quicker than they're accustomed to with hand feeding or intermittent drip irrigation. So the system does do a very good job of bringing out the best of living soil. That kind of sub-irrigation and level of moisture I've found to outperform a lot of other methods of irrigation. You mentioned upping the nutrient. Are you doing a combination of like enriched soil and then some supplementation through the tank?
So I've been doing super soil for the longest time, but just these past couple AutoPot runs, I've had to supplement with BioBiz and CannaBio, just because mid-flower I can see them start to fade a little bit earlier than I'd like. So I have been supplementing with that. I'd like to get into some top dressing or top feeding. I've been watching a bunch of the Build a Soil videos. I love the way he's been doing it. And
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we can come up with a mix specifically for autoflowers through Build a Soil. That would be kind of a next level move there. So
I would love
hopefully
to see that. Yeah.
Hopefully Jeremy sees enough feedback on the autoflower grows that it motivates him to want to do that with me. But
and you guys, Yeah, that would really cut out a lot of the work. I mean, when it comes to your seeds, our system, that soil, I mean, you would just we'd just be hand
Yeah.
delivering the best results for everybody there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I've got free cement mixers here that I've been using to mix up my super soil mix, and then from there I actually have to add it to the soil on tarps. I'm just breaking my back every time mixing it up, and yeah, if we could get it pre-mixed in a bag from Build a Soil straight, good to go, that would be the next game changer.
For sure, for sure. I've been doing the light mix from Build a Soil myself right now with BioBiz as well, supplementing with
Okay.
BioBiz.
How are you liking that?
Yeah, no, it's good, man. It's good, and the BioBiz is working very nicely in my tank. So it's at low levels. You know, I'm not putting a lot in there, but you know, from what we've seen in our YouTube channel, we have Pat right now doing a full BioBiz run in our system. Okay. And you know, from all my discussions with him, it's gone pretty well. We might actually even do like a little IG live here where me and him talk about it, because full liquid organics was something that wasn't as easily done in the AutoPots a few years ago until we changed the valve, but now it's kind of free reign with a lot of them. So it's good to see. Yeah, man. Yeah.
You guys using aero mixers to keep it keep it circulated mixed up?
Yes. But you have to, and I know Pat's using the aero mixer. I'm not. He's you can't let air come into the tank. So there's an attachment, I think, on the aero mixer. So it just recirculates, and so we'll do that, and then it'll be on a timer, running, you know, maybe for 5-10 minutes every hour, 15 minutes every couple hours. Mix everything up.
Not to let air come into the tank?
Right. Well, listen, it's up to the grower. Everybody does things different ways and is successful that way, but our personal recommendation is to not allow air or oxygen to pass through the tank just because of its effect on the pH and keeping the pH stable. But different nutrients need different things, and there's a give and take, you know, so sometimes you just have to adjust if you're going to do it that way.
Gotcha, right on. Well, good to know.
Yeah, man. So a little more Night Owl focused, man. What genetics from your most recent drop do you think perform best in the system?
The strawberry popesicle for sure got huge. They were as tall as I am, and each individual branch had branching on it that made each individual branch as big as auto plants that I've grown in the past. It was just like it was a bush like I'd never seen before. So I think strawberry popesicle, divinations, and instant classic also both got huge, super bushy, big fat nugs on them. So those would probably be my top 3 recommendations from this drop. But also, if you can find them, the mango isle, they get huge. Just the regular popesicle get huge. But again, in the AutoPots, damn near everything gets huge. So it's like those are extreme monsters. But yeah, everything in it.
If and this is a question we got a bunch, but if one of your guys, one of your customers comes to you and is like, listen, I want to grow the most massive plant I can in an AutoPot, and you have to give them one, because this is a question we got a bunch. Is there a certain, would it be the strawberry popesicle?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
That would be my go-to recommendation, yeah.
No doubt. That was a question we got quite a bit, you know. Right so people want to grow these monsters. Okay, that answers that. When is your next drop coming out?
I'm not sure. I might try to do something small for Halloween, just because that's kind of been the tradition, and that's my favorite time of year, and I always like to do something special for that. So I might do something just very small for that, and then I'm still getting everything settled from the move. I got to get set back up and do some test runs here, but I'm hoping to do something possibly around Christmas, maybe I don't know, somewhere around Christmas or New Year, probably for some new stuff. Maybe a Nightmare Before Christmas theme drop or something where we do Halloween stuff at Christmas time. But I don't know, we'll see.
I think everybody would dig that, man. They would dig that, and it's cool to know what you have, you know, possibly coming out on the horizon. We did reach out and ask everybody, you know, some stuff you wanted to hear, and I just want to let the audience know that we will be, you know, doing this again and bringing a lot more of those questions in. But just to touch on one of them that we did get a few on is if you had a tip for somebody that's starting out breeding cannabis seeds, you know, what would those tips be?
The more the merrier. Pop as many seeds as you can. Have a goal in mind when you're doing a project. Happy accidents happen all the time, so you can find some fun outliers in damn near every project, but definitely have a goal and go for that. I've yeah, popping a bunch of seeds, learning how to transplant autos properly has been key. But yeah, starting in small little pots and doing selections at every stage of the process is really the ideal situation as far as locking down traits that you're trying to lock down into autoflower format. It's
Right.
a little bit trickier with all the recessives popping out, but that's it. It's just a numbers game, and yeah, love what you do. The plants can tell if you're into it or not. So
No
definitely
doubt.
definitely have your heart in the right space, and yeah, that's kind of it.
Well, everybody feels the love once they pop those seeds and get that flower, man, and light it up. So, you know.
Yeah, and to people that think you need like a warehouse to breed, the best projects in the world have been grown in homes, bred in homes, and tents, and just even happy accidents. Like so many of the popular photo period strains are bag seeds that came out amazing. So don't disregard that either. You can find gems anywhere. But yeah,
For
it's
sure.
just a matter of popping the seeds and looking.
No doubt. No, a lot of large breeding projects that I talk to are just using a shit ton of tents at the end of the day. Just makes it a lot easier.
When I went and set up the warehouse in Colorado, literally I just set it up the way I set up my home grows, like just 10 after 10 after 10 with their own individual exhaust systems. And I mean, it was like my buddy Jay, who I was doing it with, he's like, I've never seen anything like this, done anything like this. It's like, well, it's just a home grow expanded. That's the way I do things. It's the simplest way. It's straightforward. Everything's contained, and yeah, that's the way I do it. So don't be discouraged or think you can't do it if you're a home grower. You absolutely can.
No doubt. Cool. And you make mistakes until you learn and figure it out anyways.
So, I've got plenty of bags of mistakes around here. They're not all winners for sure, but the ones that are winners are exceptional.
Yeah. What are you smoking on now?
Right now I've got some Sherb and Runts number 7 from Bangladesh out here in Maine.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
He's an amazing grower. Yeah.
I know his wife very well.
Grower. Yeah, Caitlin. Yep, that's how I met him. Actually,
she was a representative for AutoPot. She was our West Coast rep for a while. Yeah, she's awesome.
I got my first. I did get one free sample pot back in the day.
Oh.
I got that from her. Yeah,
Caitlin?
From her and Helene.
No doubt. Hey, shout out to Helene too. So
yeah, they're amazing.
It's great. Yeah. Gas Lamp.
Shout out
cool,
Gas
man.
Lamp. Go check them out. They got a bunch of great autoflowers.
Oh yeah. Cool, man. Well, listen, dude. Thank you so much for doing this. Really, we appreciate it, and like I learned so much here, and I'm really enjoying watching your journey and just autoflowers in general, and just seeing what happens in our system. So going forward, just let everybody know we'll be doing a series of these IG Live interviews. Daz, we'd like to have you back on, maybe just to field a bunch of well-picked audience questions. I will say I got a few weird audience questions.
Oh yeah,
some really weird ones. But
you have any examples of those?
So there's one I read. One was asking if you still pollinate in the nude.
In the nude?
Right. Yeah.
I do at the warehouse. It was pretty much in boxers and a white beater tank top undershirt.
Right.
But yeah, in my own place, yes, boxers at most.
No doubt. Well, when we go through this, maybe we'll go deeper into naked pollinating in the next one. But
it's all about keeping things clean, and from there, I just hop in the shower, put on a fresh pair of boxers, or just go back down in my birthday suit and do the next pollination and keep it moving like that.
It's the best we can do to keep lab quality environments.
Yeah, so, exactly. His body was formed in a lab.
Awesome. Well, listen, we're going to reach out to everybody and ask more questions for that next one, and look out for more of the interview series. Daz, thank you, man. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk soon. All right?
I think this was a great introduction into the lives, and I might have to do more of these. So thank you very much for pushing me to do this. I appreciate it.
Wasn't too bad. We didn't ruin it on our first one, huh? You did all right?
No. Hopefully not. I don't know. We'll have to get the feedback. But
I think we did. You did, but that's all that matters. So
I can hear you. There's no delays, so good to go on this end.
Word, man. Word. So, okay, thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And Daz, peace, bro.
Dude, thank you so much. Take care.
Yes, sir. All right. Bye-bye.